Hello everyone, welcome back to Tom Reads Things. My name is Tom. I hope you're all very well. So today, my mother's coming to visit again. And my stepdad Merlin. So they are bringing a very special Victorian non-fiction type book thing for us to have a chat about. And it kind of leads into the theme of today's video, which is children in Victorian literature. God, look at them, here they come. Oh no, she's noticed us. Oh, I was going to try and hide.
I want to tell all my fans about what's happened here. I've got new glasses.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And I've got my eyebrows microwaved.
Oh my God.
Can you say that?
How have you had your eyebrows what is it, microbladed?
Yes. I call it microwaved. So I'm looking particularly pretty these
I'm
days.
looking wonderful today. I'm in my Christmas pyjama bottoms again.
We can't talk about it.
Can't talk about this. So Mother and Merlin have come over today, and
Daddy.
we thought we would spend some time in front of the fire talking about some books. So Mother's going to go first. She's going to talk about 2 books that she's bought, and then Merlin's going to come along. He's going to talk about a book that he's reading at the moment, and then we're going to talk about children in Victorian literature. So let's have a look at this.
Nearly finished it.
Mm-hmm.
A Mother's Courage.
Right, let's put that up. You can see that there? A Mother's Courage. Lovely. What's this about?
Eleanor grew up in a coal mining village.
Oh, okay.
And she marries a minister, and it's just all about her life.
Oh, okay.
Some bits sad, not much of a laugh.
No. Is it Victorian?
Yeah.
Is it industrial Victorian?
Yeah.
So they're talking about the mills and things like that. Is it set in the north of
Well,
England?
some of it is because he gets sent to an island off of Sydney. So
they go to Australia?
Yeah.
So that happens a lot in Victorian.
Yeah, because he was a minister.
Oh, okay, got it. Right, so Merlin has brought over a book. This is Merlin.
Well, the first book I read to do with this subject was The Tattoos of Auschwitz, which is a very, very interesting book about this chap who was transported there from Poland, and just by the luck of the draw he was pulled out of the many thousands that were killed and murdered to tattoo the inmates that were being brought in. But that's not the book I want to speak about today.
This is a really popular book, actually.
This is a really popular, yes. This is not what I want to speak about today, Tom, because obviously I've read that and you may well have reviewed that before.
Yeah.
So we'll go on to, now this book is about the death camp Treblinka. Obviously there was Sobibor, Treblinka and Auschwitz and a couple of others that I'm not sure about. Well, I've gone 3/4 of the way through this book. Halfway through I had to stop. It was so harrowing. Of what they were doing to people was just absolutely disgusting. In fact, I had nights where all I could do was just wake up thinking about it. So I put it down for a few weeks and I started to read it again. So it's by a chap called Chill Rachman, I think. And he was transported, yes, from Poland again, like most of the people were, taken in there, and just as it was by luck again, he managed to survive. I got to the point where he actually, they had an uprising and they escaped. Most got shot apart from him, and he's now escaped back to Warsaw to look for the remnants of his family, which weren't very many of them left, as they'd all been executed in the gas chambers and shot. When I've actually finished this book, I will like to come back to Tom and finish the remnants of what I haven't read.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening to me today. I hope I've not bored you too much.
You have, but there you go.
Oh, I don't.
Excuse me. She's awful, my mother. She's bloody awful. Welcome back. Mother's back. So, thinking, because it's Victober, obviously, we need to talk about a very interesting book which you've got from the village where you grew up in, where I grew up in, which is called, shall I hold it closer to the camera so I can see for a minute? So it's called Walken School Logbook from 1862 to 1896. So do you want to tell us a bit about this?
Well, Eleanor Waldock in Walken has wrote this book, bless her, and it's just a log of their daily life in school. And I think the thing that comes out in it is just so tragic, and the poverty is awful. But I'm going to read it after you, Tom.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting because it's not like a novel, and it's not very. That's a lovely face. Well done. It's not like a novel. It's literally. I'll try and hold it closer to the camera. It is literally a log of the things that happened in the school at certain times. So you can literally see. It is a school log. 1863, June the 15th. School assembled. Numbers slightly increased. Children returned who have been at work. Much illness among them. Hemma Holst and Hannah Miles departed this life June the 14th, 1863, so the day before. And then June the 16th, school much as usual. June the 17th, school much as usual. And it kind of goes on in the same way. And then June the 20th, yearly examination of pupil teachers at Hitchin. Phoebe Morris, 4th year, Janet Abbott, 2nd year, and Mary Jane Statham, candidate 1st year. So it's all about what happened. And then July 14th, school as usual. Mary Spriggins, one of the infants' school, died this day. School as usual, school assembled, illness still progressing. So it's really interesting. It literally gives, even though some of these days are just school as usual, it gives a real in-depth across God knows how many 40 odd years about how daily school life was like in a rural Victorian village school.
Yeah.
So this leads me on to talk about the aim of this video, which is children in Victorian literature. So let's go through some of these, shall we? Hold those, please, Mother. So when I was thinking about children in Victorian literature, one thing kept on creeping into my mind, and that is the fact that it seems to me like a lot of children in Victorian literature are very hard done by, and there's a lot of I'm taking Charles Dickens really as my main focus for this because he's just who I've read most of. But if you look at novels such as Dombey and Son, what else have we got here? Little Dorrit.
Do you realise I was named after Jane Eyre?
Yeah, my mother was named after Jane Eyre.
So,
how good's that?
Yeah, it's all in the family.
And things like David Copperfield here. So one of the things that is a sort of continuing theme in these books is the fact that children are very often mistreated by the people who are looking after them, and actually the people who are looking after them very often aren't their biological parents. She's a nightmare. My mother is a nightmare. People like David Copperfield, Jane Eyre, they're all Pip from Great Expectations.
Oh, yeah.
They're all characters who have suffered greatly in...
Philip, my brother, he was named after him.
Was he?
Yes.
Pip from David Copperfield. Goodness me, what a wonderfully literary family we've got. Who was I named after?
Tiny Tim.
The milkman.
The milkman. The milkman. Lovely. My mother, ladies and gentlemen. My mother. So often you find these characters in Victorian literature who are very hard done by. You often find them, but then the whole point is that they grow up and they go through these novels, and at the end everything comes right, and they end up succeeding in their lives and having wonderful lives at the end of it. And I wonder I don't know what it is and why there's so much focus on children in Victorian literature who basically have awful childhoods, a distinct lack of biological parenting, and then are able to fight their way through and succeed at the end. Do you know what that's all about?
Mealy washing machines, I should think.
Yeah, something to do with washing machines. My mother's obsessed with Mealy washing machines. Well done. So yeah, I think that's Mark's got a question. Yes, Mark.
Is it a reflection on their own upbringing and lives?
Yes, I do believe Mark's very intelligent. Well done, Mark. Mark's just said, is it a reflection on their own upbringings and life? And definitely, actually, Dickens Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
Well done. Dickens had an awful childhood, I think, a lot of the time.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
He went to work in a, I believe, not a workhouse, but something very similar. And he had there was a lack of biological parenting from him, and he had a very tricky relationship with his father. And perhaps that is what comes across quite a lot in his work. Do you think?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, that's some insightful conversation there for you all. Anyway, that's it from us today. I hope you've enjoyed this Victober video. Have you enjoyed this Victober video, Mother?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, good, yeah. Wonderful. Okay, so we will see you again soon for another video. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. This is the scene of what was happening while we were filming. Just these people spectating, watching us,
And falling asleep.
and falling asleep.
It's very happy.